Many small and medium businesses have been left disappointed by the federal budget's lack of incentives for tax breaks. Some will be forced to cut costs, with investment in IT usually one of the first casualties. So how can SMBs introduce a cost-effective and scalable IT infrastructure? For more, I'm joined by Matt Pahnke from NETGEAR. Hi, Matt.
Hi, Peter. Thanks for the invitation.
Okay, mate, so explain to us what the problem is and why IT infrastructure is a critical issue.
So in today's modern world, there's really no more important asset than data. And it doesn't matter what the size of the company, whether it's a sole proprietorship, whether it's a small business with multiple offices, or whether it's a large enterprise. The ability to access data, to process data, to be able to draw valuable conclusions from data is really at the core of any business operation these days.
Okay, so what are the big challenges for small and medium-sized businesses in actually getting this perfect world for IT?
Well, at the end of the day, access, ongoing access, immediate access to data, and the ability to really go back and access past files, past data stores is one of the most pressing and most difficult issues for small businesses. For that reason, they're constantly looking for new and innovative ways to deal with their files, to deal with their business assets. Yeah. And because we live in a world where so much data is being generated, I mean, everybody's carrying a small computer in their pocket in the form of a smartphone, they're carrying a tablet, a PC, what have you. There's so much more information that's being generated on a regular basis. Businesses are really strapped to find ways to manage and account for all that information.
Okay, so what is the solution? If things aren't as manageable as businesses would like them to be, what is the magic bullet that will solve all this?
Yeah, well, these days there's a lot of technologies that really have been kind of the exclusive domain of large enterprise companies for quite some time. These are storage technologies that have to do with efficiency, things like deduplication, things like the ability to take multiple snapshots and really maintain records of data that goes back to any point in time, not just the last copy. What we need to do is to free those technologies from kind of the clutches of big IT and bring them down to small and medium business. There's a lot of vendors out there similar to NETGEAR that are in the business of doing just that, taking these complicated technologies and bringing them really to the masses, not only in the home market, but also empowering SMBs to have the same access to these tools that large enterprises have been using for many years.
To make it easy for us to understand, give us an example of that kind of data challenge you're talking about in a small business, and then how you guys would fix it.
Yeah, so one of the more common ones, really is when you have a multi-office situation. You have workers that are spread out across different cities, and then you have workers, some are working from coffee shops, some are on business, at meetings with customers, all spread out. They need access to the same data, so what they need is a central network, a central way to centralize all of their resources. We at NETGEAR really are key to putting together those type of networks where you can have data that is backed up at all of the edge locations, or at for all the individual workers and all the individual offices, but also be able to easily centralize that data in one head office. In case, for instance, there's a theft, in case there's a fire, in case somebody trips over the wrong cord and loses something important at one of the edge locations or one of the branch offices, everything is safe and sound there at the core of the home office.
I guess the critical question is it expensive to get it right the way you describe it, and has this become possible because of the cloud?
Yeah, so it has been traditionally very expensive. As I say, these have been technologies exclusive to large companies with large budgets and large teams. Now, the expense comes, one, in the upfront cost, but then also the ongoing management, having a large team to do that. What's happening over the last few years is these technologies are kind of trickling down, being done in a way that is much less complicated, much easier to use, and so that ongoing, not only the upfront cost is lower, but the ongoing management costs are lower. As far as the cloud is concerned, the cloud really allows small businesses to begin to rent infrastructure. So they no longer have to make the upfront investment in servers and in staff and in everything that goes into a heavy capital expense of infrastructure. Instead, they can rent it from someone else. They can concentrate on what makes them special, on what makes them unique as a businessman, and not have to also be an expert in IT.
One last question. We're running out of time, mate, but people worry, oh, my data's not inside my office, it's somewhere else. What if there's a power outage and I need info? How do you allay their fears on that?
Yeah, that's a great question, and that's really, we always recommend that every small office have a local storage solution for exactly that reason.
Yeah.
If they're going to store all their data on the cloud and something happens at the local office, it's going to take days, possibly weeks, to restore all that data to the home. So what you really see is what we call a hybrid solution. We see customers taking advantage of a private cloud environment, meaning a cloud within on infrastructure that they own within their own office, but also using the cloud for management capabilities or as a disaster recovery option. But really making sure that they have a solid local network, a solid local storage, ideally NAS storage solution with multiple levels of redundancy that make sure that their data is safe within the confines of their own office.
Matt, thanks for joining us on the program.
Thank you, Peter.
That's the show for tonight. I'll see you tomorrow night.